What is up, NPBF fans and coaches alike, New Frontier fam, and anyone else who subscribed to this YouTube channel? My name is Jeff. I also go by PokePrimer, and we are here for the first weekly recap of NPBF Season 15, our trip back into Generation 6. A lot of amazing games this week. Is a lot of fun seeing all the action and seeing how everyone's playing with the new format. You know, tested everyone's memories and sometimes some cases reintroducing things to people. You know, so that they haven't seen Gen 6 in such a long time. So it's good stuff, very good stuff. But I am not alone to see these games. I have joining me a fellow admin, a former champion of the league, and a current demon in the league, as you'll see by his game this week. We have Alex from the Greenwich Giratinas.
What up? What up? How's it going? For those of you who don't like this season, blame me. It was my idea.
Yes, it was. I was pushing for a low tier draft, but you know what? He said Gen 6, and I was like, you know what? That sounds too good to be true. That sounds too good to pass up. Why not? Mix things up a little bit. Can't hurt, you know? It can't hurt. I think it's fun. It's kind of fitting with the season, you know? Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl comes out. What's the Diamond legendary? Dialga, he's all about time. We're going back in time. It all makes sense. It's a perfect...
Yes, of course.
It's a perfect Gen 4 tie-in without being a Gen 4 tie-in. It was all thought out perfectly ahead of time. You can thank us later.
We probably should have named divisions after the Gen 4 towns instead of the Gen 3, but that's neither here nor there.
You make a good point, and I'm mad that you're right. But you know what I'm not mad about? Your performance in Week 1 here was stellar. So why don't we get into this? Why don't we get into this beauty that is this matchup? Tell me what's going on here. Tell me what's happening.
So you have me, the Giratinas, versus Jamie and the Brisbane Rillaboomers. Once upon a time, there was a video on this YouTube channel, or a previous incarnation of this channel, where Jamie destroyed me, 6-0'd me, with Doom Desire Jirachi when we did our mono season.
Oh. And
that taste never left my mouth.
Oh, yes. Oh, I remember that. That was a game and a half. I remember that pain. I felt pain for you. He sent me the sets ahead of time, and I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. And then I saw the game, and I was like, oh, it was as bad as I thought. Got it.
Yes. Well, I went into this assuming that I was going to deal with that again. So I had to do a lot of work. While we're not looking at the team, Jamie drafted a bit of a sand team, so as well as Mega Banette. Mega Banette is very low tier, but if you let it set up on you with Cotton Spore and Calm Mind, if you don't have Toxic, you're going to lose the game. Plain and simple. If you do not have anything for Excadrill, when it's sand rushing, you're gonna lose the game. So, looking at this, on my end, on the Giratina's end, we have Mega Gallade, Roserade, Sylveon, Gyarados, Hydreigon, and Infernape. On Jamie's end, we have Whimsicott, Typhlosion, Excadrill, Xatu, Kingdra, and Swellow.
All right.
Whenever you're ready, Jeff.
Yes, sir. I'll throw it on slow so we can get some nice, good discussion going. We can pause appropriately. Let's see this beauty of a game. Oh,
all right.
What a start.
That Culver surprised me, but it made a lot of sense. Had to lead Hydra just because nothing outsped it, and I could U-turn on anything here.
Yeah, makes sense.
Whimsicott, I really didn't have a switch in for, except for Rose. So I don't know why Sylveon, but... Oh, I needed to fix Hydra, of course.
Makes sense.
So pause here, because I got a lot of talking to do about this.
Go for it, dude.
Looking at this team, other than Hydreigon with Levitate, I don't have a switch in for Excadrill. Plain and simple. Mm-hmm. I technically still don't, even with Gyarados. But the one thing that could shut it down was Gyarados. It flies, so it dodges the stab EQ. It resists the Iron Heads, and it can throw Intimidate around, which, awesome if it's got a Swords Dance up. Even better if it's not, because he's got to work more. The only thing he can do is hit me with Rock Slide. This is a very defensive Gyarados, intended just to come in on Excadrill any single time and click a Waterfall.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's the best thing to counter it. It's, resists both stabs. The only thing it's going to be hitting you with is a non-stab Rock Slide, and that's, if they hit. So it's perfect mon to have in this situation for sure. Shout out to James for getting it for you.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing we could talk about later.
Absolutely. Let's. Oh my goodness! Just the lack of damage. It's non-existent. Nice free.
So now we have Whimsicott. The right call dodging the waterfall damage. Rose is here.
Ooh.
Was not expecting the Psychic. Never ever saw it in prep. Rose was just here to absorb Toxics and Leech Seeds and scare out Drill and hit it with a Giga Drain.
Very good, very good. Good plays on Jamie's part there with that Psychic and then making the double out, predicting the Sylveon to come in. I think that was a really, really solid play on his part.
It was. I was really nervous at the time because I need Sylveon because it's my only answer for Kingdra here if he gets a D-Dance off.
Yeah.
That Excadrill, it taking the Waterfall was exactly what I was hoping for. I know Jamie was hoping for a flinch, but flinches happen as often as stuff that is under 100% accuracy hitting.
Exactly. Sometimes that's the play you got to go for, and you do what you got to do sometimes. But yeah, that's I'm not sure if I entirely agree with that play. I think at that point,
that Memento I think was for Gyarados.
Yeah, I think he was expecting Gyarados to come in. I definitely agree with you there. Did not pan out well for him losing his Whimsicott there.
No. It's the
tough.
only check he's got here to Hydreigon. It's the only thing he has that seriously can stop Gallade.
Yeah.
Xatu. Well, actually, the Xatu could have stopped Gallade as well, except for knockoff. But ultimately, we're gonna see that Gallade doesn't get to hit the field this game.
Yeah, it just sits there, takes a nice break in the back, It's very relaxing day to be Mega Gallade here, for sure.
Yeah, which is good when he got Whimsicott, Xatu, and Swellow staring at you.
Yeah. He sat back and he said, "You know what? You guys can take care of the rest. You guys got this. I'll stay over here."
Yeah, just Sylveon and Gyarados can handle this game.
Yeah. Very surprised that he went into the Kingdra here. That was super duper risky.
So I think, because I've been encountering this with a good few coaches so far, a lot of people don't remember that Hyper Voice goes through Substitute.
That's a good point. It's definitely something that a lesser known mechanic, I think.
Yeah, I have no ill feelings about giving that away because I just assume that everybody knows that about sound-based moves. There are some more niche moves that you wouldn't think follow that rule, but Hyper Voice always, that is a well-known goes through. But Jamie's not the only coach that's been reminded of that this season by me. In prep and practice for other games, a lot of people have forgotten that.
Yeah, it's definitely something you can forget pretty easily. You don't run into it too often. I mean, there's so few mons that really utilize sound-based moves very commonly, especially in the meta nowadays. That realistically, you don't run into that problem as often as you would think.
Yeah. While we're paused on Swellow, this was a late, very last-minute addition to Jamie's team. He picked up in free agency right before the week started. It wasn't until I was done with my initial round of testing that I discovered this thing destroyed me. Guts Facade was brutal. The Specs set, also brutal. Took out my main offensive hitters, Rose can't stand up to it. Sylveon couldn't deal with Facade. It was really bad. And if Swallow was... Well, we'll see how Swallow is played, but it was probably the worst case scenario with what came.
Alrighty, well, let's take a look and see what happened. Oh, that's a Brave Bird. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, if that had come in already and allowed to eat its Toxic Orb, I might have been in trouble here.
Yeah, that's dangerous. That's terrifying. The crit on the Sylveon, or on the crit on the Swallow, I'm not sure if it mattered, because Swallow isn't particularly the bulkiest boy in the world, and this is back when, Pixelate and the other 8 abilities were still buffed. So I'm not entirely sure if it was super, game-changing, but definitely, it's more of a salt in the wound kind of situation. It's you don't want to have that kind of thing happen in the midst of a game that's already going poorly.
It didn't matter much, if at all. It was just a salt in the wound.
Yeah, it never feels good getting those crits. Goes for the flinch there. It goes for the Rock Slide. He needed a flinch, but at that point, even if he got the flinch, it was an 8% Excadrill versus an Infernape that definitely had Mach Punch, a Mega Gallade that's faster, a Roserade that's faster, and a Hydreigon that's faster. So it was a case of it would have been nice for the differential, but
I would have felt better about the win.
Yeah. Nice, solid, really well played 6-0 on your part. You played that really, really well from start to finish.
Thank you.
That was a really, really nice game.
Yeah, Jamie and I have spoken on this. We're even now. He and I have started fresh between both of our 6-0s. So there's no bad blood. I expected it to be more of a Gallade sweep, but I'll take showing everyone why Sylveon's tier 1 and 6th gen instead.
Yep, absolutely. It's deserving. It's 100% deserving, and it completely carried the team on its back. 100% in that one. Very, very good stuff. Very good start to the week. What a way to start the season. This is the first game we had for the season, and it was within a day or two of the season starting, and that was fantastic. And when you start a season like that, you can only expect the best. Let's be real.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was a good way to indicate the variety that we're going to be seeing this season.
Absolutely. So with that, GG's to you, my man. Jamie, you'll bounce back from this. You will. We know you will. You're gonna make some changes to your team, and you're gonna bounce back because you always do. And we just know. Because it is how you are. So
I'm scared of the Week 10 rematch.
Exactly. The rematch is always the worst part. So with that being said, let's move on to our next match. Alrighty. The next matchup we have is our powerful almighty Lord Jamesus and his Memphis Brave Birds taking on the returning Anthony and his Windy City Bolt Strikers. Anthony took a trip down to D-League last season and clapped a whole bunch of cheeks to get himself near the top of the rankings and just conveniently be in a high enough ranking to make it back up here due to a couple people dropping. And, James is James. He'll be here till the end of time.
No matter what he says.
Yeah, he can say he'll leave, but he can't. He knows he can't. He can't leave us. He loves us too much.
We won't let him.
No, we'll keep dragging him back no matter what happens. So, good matchup between two admins. You can never ask for anything better than that. Fantastic group of people here. We see James rocking out with the Mega Gardevoir, the Doug Trio, which this season does have Arena Trap. We did allow trapping abilities this season. I don't believe anyone picked up Gothitelle, but Doug Trio's...
No, Gothitelle is still a free agent, if anybody wants it.
Mm-hmm. But Doug Trio's here, chilling. You can also pick up Diglett if you're so inclined. It's an option. Just because it's not on the dock, it's an option. You can You can make that happen. Just saying. I would love to see someone pick up Diglett. It'd be funny. We got the Salamence, the Heatran, Vaporeon, who blends perfectly into Malamar's tentacles, and of course, the aforementioned Malamar. Taking on Anthony's Nidoqueen, Pangoro, the Magnezone, the Starmie, the Clefairy, and the Mega Charizard Y. So, pretty solid, even-looking matchup. Looks like it could be a fun one.
Oh, most definitely.
Let us indeed see how it goes. Put this one on normal as we can discuss a little bit more. You know, we're not going as in depth, but we're gonna see what happened. Pangoro putting in some good early damage.
It's funny, when Anthony was building this team, Pangoro was one of the mons he was distinctly told, do not bring.
But, he was dropping it, so I guess he figured, might as well get him one game.
Yeah, he kind of found that it put in enough work, more so than some of the other things he was looking at.
Yeah,
look, Salamence is gone, and that's one of the that was the biggest thing he feared for his Zard, besides the Doug Trio we're looking at.
Yeah, and Goro picking up the first kill of the matchup, like that's saying something. I mean, Doug Trio being able to come in and deal with it appropriately, as it's meant to do, still terrifying, but Pangoro did its job. And so's this Heatran. Jesus, landing Mega Stones.
This Heatran is putting in all of the work, and it puts in all the work for the foreseeable future, I believe. Leave it to James to run Magma Storm and make it work.
That play was real nice.
It was. I wonder, I guess the Malamar made it so that he really couldn't feel comfortable clicking a Psychic move.
Mm-hmm. Forcing him into attacking the Heatran, baiting him in like that was, with the Protect, that was genius. That was really well played on his part. And landing Magma Storms. Come on, James. What is your secret? What is your secret? I clicked that move 8 times, and I will miss that move 8 times. You clicked it 3 times. One of them hit a Protect, the other 2 times it landed. What are you doing? What are you doing differently that I'm not?
Now, what we just witnessed with Doug Trio and Charizard was actually a really big case of mind games, where Anthony had to predict if James was going to click a Rock-type move or if he was going to go for the Earthquake to trap it. Because obviously, if he predicts correctly that James is going to click Earthquake, stays normal, allows him to get a Dragon Dance up, outspeed Doug Trio and get rid of it, or at least bring it down to Sash. Assuming it is Sash. It usually would be in this case.
I think
there was a lot
have
of mind
been
games. Oh wait, I believe he said later he was.
Because I feel like 46% on a Clefable from a Doug Trio, I feel like that's a lot of damage.
It is. Doug Trio's not that strong.
No, it's only ever good because it can trap people. And like the big thing about this turn is like he's 100% trapped here. Because if he gets this play wrong, he loses a Mon no matter what, right?
Yeah.
Like, he switches here. Clefable's getting 2 KO'd. Nidoqueen's getting O-Code. So if he Earthquakes. So if he switches on an Earthquake, because, technically he's still flying right now, he can get out. If he switches, he's done. He's dead.
Yeah, and he can't afford to lose the Nidoqueen because he does need it for Gardevoir. He needs Clefable. Maybe for Malamar. Charizard could probably handle Malamar, but he 100% needs Nidoqueen if he wants to get rid of Gardevoir.
Yeah, so this play needed to work out absolutely perfectly. His best case scenario would have been like, if he did indeed go for the Stone Edge, which he does indeed do here, and he went into Nidoqueen on the Stone Edge. That would have been the best case scenario that could have happened for him. But at the same time, it's almost like a consistent loss, because he's forced to switch and, stay unmega'd and still be taking the extra rocks damage. Like, it's a lose-lose-lose across the board. So it's like power of Doug Trio.
There's no way to know what's right.
Yeah, the power of Doug Trio is dangerous. This Mon is is definitely scary, and it's definitely something I expect to see James utilizing incredibly well this season, as he does indeed here. Just he gets the Stone Edge off, he gets the kill on the Zard.
Speaking of hitting everything, he's hitting Magma Storms, he's hitting all these Stone Edges.
James bought a fresh pair of spectacles, and they're built out of magnifying glasses, apparently.
I think someone's been consulting the Cooper Kishiro book of accuracy IVs.
Look at you. Oh, the references. I appreciate the references. Oh, I haven't heard that name in a minute. Gotta love Coop. Gotta love good old Cooper.
I love Coop. Cooper Kishiro. Doesn't matter that we're doing 6th gen, even though 6th gen's what he excelled at. If you guys want to learn a lot about playing draft, watch Cooper. Just the way he builds is insane. Also, that Nidoqueen, the berry to live Gardevoir was huge. If the Zard thing had worked out, that would have clinched the game for Anthony. But unfortunately, Doug Trio was a bit too much to overcome.
Yeah. The Dougie was too good, and trying to make the right play around it is too tough. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just kind of have to take the L when Dougie comes in on you. You just gotta take the L and hope and pray you get it right. It's tough. It's tough mon to deal with for sure, and I definitely expect it to be even more of a nuisance for some of the other teams this season. Played it perfectly. Really, really well done, James. Really, really well done, Anthony. You'll bounce back. Not really. Not next week. Next week you're not going to bounce back. That you'll have to wait till week 3 to bounce back. But you'll get there eventually. Don't worry. I'm sure you'll be fine. But next week I will indeed have to clap thy cheeks. Nothing personal, strictly business. You know how it is. But
always.
Yeah, fantastic game, and let's move on to the next one. All right. Matchup number 3 for the week. We have Rennie and the Los Angeles Darkrais taking on Jason and the Niflheim Ninetailers. I hope I said that correctly. I'm pretty sure I did. But
You probably did. Jason will tell us if he didn't, though.
Absolutely. And he'll be very polite about it, because that's the kind of person Jason is. He's a polite gentleman. All right. Alex, why don't you break down this matchup for us? Let's take a peek at what we got going on here.
So I could give you Rennie's whole team, but we're playing in 6th gen, so we're looking at Brave Bird everything.
Indeed we are.
Supporting Brave Bird everything, though, is Granbull. Very underrated mon, especially in 6th gen for fairy typing. Goodra, Mega Scizor, Sneasel, and Weavile, not Sneasel, and Espeon. Staring him down from Jason, we got Nidoking, Megalopunny, which he sniped for me. I thought I was going to get it, pick number 2, but I did not. Latios, Entei, Togekiss, and Ferrothorn. A lot of bulk on both sides, especially on Jason's side. A lot of hard-hitting offense on both sides. This could really go either way.
For sure. Watching some of these games is reminding me of how long some of the games used to go back in Gen 6. Some games just consistently went 50, 60 turns on a weekly basis. It was a time. Oh, it was a time.
It was a good time, though.
It was a very good time, because it was a time before Z moves existed. No time without Z moves is a bad time.
You want to see some long 6th gen games? I'm going to plug him again. Cooper Kishiro.
Cooper Kishiro, the god, taking people to timer and Wi-Fi for consistent seasons in the GBA. Just taking people to timer because he could. Not because he needed it, but because he could.
– Good times. Let's get this one started, though.
Yes,
I don't think Rennie's going to go to timer.
No, Rennie doesn't know what the timer looks like. He just gets in, gets his business done, and gets out. A lot of
So Rennie leads Weavile. That was probably the best lead Rennie had, because it could hit everything that Jason had super effectively except for Entei. The burn on Granbull is very unfortunate, though, because that was his main check for Lopunny.
Well, having the Super Fang there immediately just shows how good Rennie is. He always has that backup plan in his back pocket. He's like, oh, I can't use my physical attacks? Oh, I'll just take away half your health. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And the balls on him, too, to have Gudra staring down Togekiss, just firing off ice beams as though that thing doesn't have Dazzling Gleam waiting for it, which it looked like it doesn't, actually.
Also dodging the 60% flinch chance immediately, which is crazy enough as it is. Seeing the 12% burn again is it's so weird.
It's been very jarring. I actually did forget that used to be a thing, but it has made Will-O-Wisp far more viable for things that aren't just physical attackers, since it more than negates leftovers now. Absolutely,
it's so much more useful, and also, you know, the beautiful unnerfed Thunderwave, the beauty of unnerfed Thunderwave. Yeah. It never gets old.
Literally makes it so that the Mon's unusable.
It's brilliant. No, nice knockoff play, getting that Espeon out of there. Oh, hidden power into the Akka. Oh,
you hate to see that. Oh, that's such a good idea.
It's so good, but it's so demoralizing when you're the person getting hit with the berry. It's like, oh, I got this hidden power tech. I got you good this time. Oh, never mind.
And Rennie running the Gooey. I feel like we don't see Gooey enough on people who play Gudra.
I definitely agree. I feel like everyone goes for the Sap Sipper more likely than not, just for the extra immunity. Like 9 times out of 10, that just kind of like gets the priority. But at the same time, it's like, is it always the best play? I don't know.
In this case, not. Not when you have all the speed that Jason's got with Lopunny. And before this, another berry. So if you're facing Jason, expect to see the berries.
If you have an Unnervemon, bring it. I don't care if it's a bad Unnervemon, you bring the Unnervemon.
And we get our first Brave Bird everything kill for the season. Let's see if we can just make it...
We get 2.
Oh, we make 2. Can we make it 3?
The Gale Wings nerf was so necessary. Watching this again makes me feel good about the Gale Wings nerf.
I do think if Rennie had stayed in with the Talonflame there, it would have taken the Fake out, and then it would have been 3 Brave Birds to end the game.
Indeed, it would have. I 100% agree with you on that.
Now, Weavile staring down Togekiss. I don't know if Ice Shard was necessarily the right move because Weavile does outspeed.
Yeah, I think he definitely could have.
We discovered that this is Scarf.
Let me take a look back real quick. Let me Control F that situation. So now I'm curious, thinking about that. Well, it would be helpful if I spelled Togekiss correctly. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Just gets hit with a Super Fang. Roosts up. Nope, it switched moves. It roosted as the Gudra came in and then switched over to Air Slash, so it's not Scarfed. I definitely think that unless he didn't have another Ice-type move, which feels strange on a Life Orb Weavile, because I'm pretty...
Well, we did see 3 different moves. It's totally possible that Ice Shard was the only Ice-type move. It ultimately doesn't matter. Rennie still is able to get the win. He does show us why Talonflame was busted in Gen 6.
Indeed, Talonflame is just... further proof why the Gale Wings nerf was necessary. It's unfortunate that Talonflame is the only Pokemon that has Gale Wings, and the only Pokemon that's ever been affected by it. Well, the only Pokemon line that's ever been affected by it. But even still, it's a shame that the poor thing went from the god of everything to who uses that damn bird. Yeah, it's further proof as to why that is necessary and it should never be changed. Thank you, Rennie, for proving why Gale Wings was a bad idea to begin with.
And the string of 1-0s continues.
Indeed. This is possibly one of the closest beginning weeks I can remember in season history, but I have a feeling the next game is gonna switch things up on that a little bit. So let's hop on over. Alright, next up we have the first of our Goon Squad battles here this week. Yes, we have the Goon Squad is slowly and steadily taking over the NPBF. It's just kind of happened from the inside out, and it's mildly terrifying, even as a Goon now myself.
Before we even know it. Yeah. I think at this point, like, at least half of us are members of the Goon Squad, the two of us included.
Yep, the Goon Squad has expanded and is ever expanding, and will eventually take over everything. Be warned. But we have Jesse, our most recent champion, with his Zapdos, Crocodile, Steelix, Empoleon. God, it's so good to see Empoleon back. Dragonite and Florges for the J-Dog Jolteons. Still just have an innate anger towards his team name, and it just makes me feel anger. I don't know why. It just does. And then we have other James, good old James W, and his Myrtle Magikarps with big old Mega Gyarados, Bisharp, not a Pokemon, Mienshao, Landorus with Sandforce, and Noivern. I say not a Pokemon because Torkoal shouldn't exist. Torkoal is bad. It's very bad. Very bad. Very bad. Very, very bad. Before it gets Drought. So Torkoal without Drought is not a Pokemon. I refuse to have anyone argue against that because you're wrong. Not even it's you're objectively just wrong. It is what it is. But he has it, so it's here. So we must recognize its presence, unfortunately. Didn't he just drop that? Please tell me he just dropped that. I swear to God I saw he did.
Better not. That was like his only hazard remover.
God, no, he still has it. No, he just switched sticky web users. Damn it. I just want to see it die. I just want to see it disappear. I hate this thing. I hate that it's even on anyone's roster. I would have rather him draft Pelipper for the meme. But no, he just drafts Torkoal. It's shameful behavior. Anyways, besides my hatred for Torkoal, we have a really solid looking matchup here. James, is James. We all love James. He's great. He has his favorites and he drafts his favorites and he does well with his favorites. Simple as that. And I think he just consistently always has some form of Gyarados on his team. I'm struggling to remember instances where he doesn't, which is crazy. So, really looking forward to seeing how he utilizes it here and seeing how Jesse deals with it because, Jesse knows how James plays. I'm sure quite well at this point. So,
probably better than any of the rest of us do.
Yeah, indeed. So it's very possible that this could turn out to be a close matchup. We'll see if that is the case. Spoilers. It's not.
I was really hoping to learn something from this too, because I got to face both of these guys in the next 2 weeks. I mean, I learned to target Mega Gyarados, but I didn't learn anything about Jesse.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, Torkoal, at least, I know you don't want to acknowledge it, but the yawn play was at least good to get Dragonite out of there.
Yeah, he did. He did do a good job with it. He's getting the yawns off, forcing things. Oh no, getting the yawn on the Crocodile on the 3-turn outrage. Now he's going to sleep. Oh no,
And he the rocks out, so Dragonite loses multi-scale.
Oh lord, oh no.
And it begins.
It begins indeed. He gets the waterfall flinch.
We might want to consider not allowing to not Mega the first turn it's in.
Yeah, that might have to be a consideration. Oh god. Oh no. Goodbye, Steelix. That crit didn't matter. I don't care what anyone says. That crit didn't matter.
I don't think it did. At +2.
Oh no. Well, yeah, that's we all can see the writing on the wall here. That's what's happening here. This game is happening. Oh no, poor Jesse. As soon as that crook went to sleep, Gyarados said, "Alright, cool. I'm just gonna dance on your graves."
I may have gotten a 6-0, but that was nothing in terms of brutality compared to what we just watched.
Yeah, that Gyarados is gonna be a nuisance for everyone to deal with, and you guys will see later in the video where that Gyarados stands in the overall scheme of things, and he is currently sitting in a very comfortable position, in case you couldn't tell.
I think, not this week, I think next week we're going to have to issue the the hit on it as has happened to other mons in the past.
It might be time. It might just be time. It might be time for that. We can't be having this thing running around causing this kind of mayhem. This is absurd.
Is anything to go by.
This mon just got one Dragon Dance up, got one Moxie boost, and just ate this entire team of behemoths. This entire team of monsters just got chewed alive. Absurd. Utterly absurd. This mon is stupid. Mega Gyarados is too good for its own good. And
especially in James's hands, although I'm sure that's by design.
He has a Magikarp deep down in his soul, so he knows all the tricks of running a Gyarados. His timing was perfect. He nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. And the fact that 4 of his mons didn't even have to hit the field is saying enough. Why does Torkoal have to be the only other mon that was on the field?
At least Torkoal was the only mon on his team that died.
It makes me feel better. But not by much. Just enough. But not by much. I still hope it disappears eventually. You poor thing. Realistically, it's more of a hatred out of sadness. You will become relevant someday, I promise. But
whenever we next draft post 6.
Yes, indeed. But, dominant performance by James. He's off to a crazy strong start this season. Now, time to take a peek at our next matchup. The next matchup, we have Deshawn, the runner-up from last season, and I think everyone's favorite coach, realistically.
I'd agree with that.
In his Bridgeport Sandacondas with the Mega Medicham, Raikou, Cloyster, Skarmory, Arcanine, and Zygarde. I will let you all just look at this and absorb it into your brains. This is something that he got in a draft, and these weren't even his first options half the time. Just want to put that out there. This is knowledge that was recently provided to me off screen, and it makes me even more mad that this draft exists. You guys saw the analysis. You know my feelings on this team. He
wanted Medicham.
Beautiful.
He wanted Arcanine. He's been using Arcanine a lot, but there's a good chunk of stuff on this and stuff that didn't come that just kind of fell to him.
Well, his first victim is looking to be Alan, another D-League bring-up from this past season, and his Manila Metals with Mega Absol, because who would ever draft regular Absol? I don't even have to think about that one. Thunderous Therian, Chandelure, the Cobalion, the Slowbro, and the Landorus Therian. Oh, the double Therian voice. I just noticed that. That's kind of cool. Can appreciate. So, what do you think? What do you think about this matchup on paper? What are you thinking about this one?
I think in order for Alan to break through, he has to use his bulk very specifically. Slowbro has to wall Medicham, has to wall Arcanine. But knowing Deshawn that Arcanine is bulky and will recover more than Slowbro can do to it, he has to play Absol. He has to play it smartly because of how frail it is. Absol is his primary answer for Medicham, unless he has a Scarf Chandelure.
Yeah, definitely has to preserve that Sucker Punch. I think that's going to be very crucial to dealing with Medicham, which pretty much can just blow a hole through most of this team.
Yeah, and unfortunately, now that we're in a gen with Hidden Power, he doesn't exactly have anything he really doesn't have anything that kind of wants to deal with Raikou, because his 2 answers can now get hit with Hidden Power Ice.
Yep, so it's a tough matchup for sure. He has his outs, but we shall see if he's able to utilize them appropriately. Absol.
So Absol starting with Magic Bounce, it's the perfect lead.
Yep. Simple.
If only he stayed.
Oh, God. Turn 1, he gets to play right. Oh, no.
Exactly what I was saying.
God.
There's nothing on this team that deals with Raikou because of Hidden Power.
Jesus Christ. There's just all this damage he just is able to get off for free so early in the game.
Although Kabalion being able to take it down that low with close combat this early on is going to be very good for Alan.
Definitely. Arcanine chewing that up, and we see the first Toxic come out, and this is... You can see what kind of game this is about to turn. You see what kind of game this turns into.
On for it to get Toxic for Alan too. We see exactly the game Deshawn's here to play.
Yeah.
Protect, Toxic, Flamethrower. Zygarde coming out here, probably not the best to expect, because he's going to expect either a knockoff or a play rough. If it was me, I would do play rough, and he did click play rough. I don't believe that. I'm not sure if that crit mattered.
I don't think so. I'm not entirely sure. It's that knockoff doing only 39% kind of feels wrong to me, because that feels way low.
You got to imagine that he had some bulk in Zygarde.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, the Scalds are doing less than 50. So if Deshawn is doing Morning Sun, that's Slowbro, and there we go.
And there it is. That's
the Slowbro needs to be around for Metacham, but it is not going to do anything against Arcanine.
This man, Alan, needs to beg and plead for like Scald crits every single time he clicks Scald in order to even have a chance.
Would have been good. Skarmory coming in, stalling out, and the Magic Bounce predict, very good on Alan's part.
Nice to actually see that come into play. I'm very happy to see Mega Absol's Magic Bounce getting used. I feel like I rarely see it because everyone doesn't have the balls to bring it in.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
No, same. I can't do it. I always make the calls and I stare at it, but I'm like, if they don't do this, then I'm just throwing my Mega away. So why am I doing this?
So fun fact, the exchange we just saw, if I'm not mistaken, was a battle between the version exclusives of Red and Blue, between Cloyster and Slowbro.
Well, that's just cool. Well, that's just a really cool little bit of information. I did not know that. That is pretty awesome.
Thundurus coming in. Outspeeding Raikou, which you don't see often, despite him changing his moves. But
very interesting.
Also looking at the team, I don't think this was the game to bring Timid anyway.
Yeah, it just didn't seem right in the matchup. Like he could easily run Modest and be fine. The only thing that was realistically going to be faster would be the Cobalion or the Thundurus, and that's... Thundurus isn't typically a threat if he's at high enough health, and then Cobalion, it just dies to things pretty quickly. So it's not like you didn't have ways of dealing with it. So I think it was fine.
We finally see the number one Oyumon from 6th Gen coming into play on Arcanine of all things. The Rock Slide predict though very good. Not thinking he was going to dodge EQ.
Yeah,
I will say, when I watched this live, at this point, I was very concerned, and I was positive Alan outplayed him. Alan's gonna take it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like one of those situations on paper where it's not looking good. It's not a great situation. I definitely think that going into the Slowbro here, I think was a misplay, or at least staying in with the Slowbro here. I think predicting the Protect there, or the Protect felt obvious there.
Yeah.
And doubling back out to Lando was pretty much perfect because you can click Rock Slide or even EQ for free and not have to worry.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you'd be concerned about wasting the turn for Skarmory to come in free, but...
Yeah, he could have made something out of that, I think. Letting his Slowbro go down there, I think at least if he came in and went back out, he could have got a little bit extra regen recovery, and I think that would have been useful. But,
yeah, I agree.
I think the moment the Toxic landed on the Slowbro, I think was when this game was won realistically in the broad scheme of things.
I think you're right. The Slowbro, looking at it on paper, was what he needed to stop Arcanine. It is absolutely what he needed to stop Metacham. It helps with Zygarde. The only thing on this team that really didn't help with was Raiko.
Yeah, and that was taken care of pretty efficiently pretty early on. So
Yeah.
I think that if he had been able to avoid getting that toxic on him, I think this could have been a very, very different game if he had been able to protect the Slowbro a little better. But it's just not the case. Deshaun played this perfectly and gets the double protect just for the BM in the end.
Yeah. I mean, we even see only one attacking move that is fire type on something with flash fire, and he is still whittling it down and takes it down without swapping out.
Yeah, it's painful to watch to an extent because you know Alan's sitting there seething the entire time. You know in his mind he's like, I hate everything that's happening right now. All these rock slide flinches too, just like it feels like a mild amount of justice, but at the same time, you know, does it really matter at this point?
I'd be yelling at the game saying too little too late. Don't make me feel better.
Why did you wait to give me this now? Why couldn't you have given me this 30 turns ago? That would have been better. And just the toxic, just to make him feel a little bit worse about himself.
I think
that's
if
rough.
nothing else, the most clicked move this entire game was toxic.
I would agree with you. Just to remove the hazards at the end, just for that last little bit. That's
just so
man.
Arcanine could come in.
So Arcanine could be the last one standing, staring him down like, see, this is what I did to you. This is what I did to your team. Feel bad.
So we haven't talked about match MVPs, but I really think it needs to be stated that Arcanine carried this game.
I feel like that goes without question here. I think that's without any debate whatsoever. I think Arcanine was easily the mon of the game here. It put the team on its back. It walled everything, even the things it shouldn't have walled. It just walled them anyway. That's absurd. It was just absurd watching this thing perform in this match. It was truly a thing of beauty and also a thing of nightmares. Check schedule with a nervous pant.
I'm not looking forward to week 9 for myself. That's all I'm gonna say.
I don't remember if I play him. I don't want to play him. I really don't want to play him. Please search in document Appletons. Let's see. No. Son of a bitch. Week 7. Damn it. I don't avoid it. I haven't dodged the bullet. It's coming right for me.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm not bulletproof.
No one is this season.
That's gonna be God. This is my future. I'm terrified of it.
This is both our futures.
May the odds be ever in our favor. Deshaun proving once again why he is one of the more dominant players in this league, and why he is always somebody you should consider a threat, because you just never know what kind of playstyle he's going to bring against you. And oh boy, is he bringing the fire this season.
It's going to be interesting to see.
For sure, but now that we've gone through our worst nightmares, let's move on to some more top-notch competition elsewhere. Alright, we are on to what probably on paper looked like it was going to be game of the week this week between Chris, the infamous Chris, and the Nottingham Neolegos, making his return to NPBF this season, and Liam and the Auckland Ambipoms, who went undefeated in the regular season last season because he's mean like that. And also, this is even though certain things happen in this matchup, there is a hit on this Latias. This is a personal hit. If you choose to accept it, by all means take it. But there is a personal hit out on this Latias because of what it did to me at the end of last season, and I'm still salty about it.
Oh yeah,
still salty. I brought my memes. He didn't get to see my memes because he swept me with Calm Mind Store Power Latias, and I'm real mad about it. And then he stole Kill Leader from my Keldeo. Okay? I'm not okay. I'm not okay at all. I had Kill Leader on lock. No one was close to me, and he 6-0s me with a Latios in the final week of the season. Still mad. Still very mad. Case couldn't tell.
Oh, he 6-0'd us both last season then.
Yep, it was rough. It was rough. Very rough. All right. I'll let you go over these teams because my game's next, so I gotta take care of that one. So.
Alrighty. Well, we transition from Jeff's worst nightmare in the previous game to my worst nightmare in this game. These are two people I would not want to be in the same division as. These are two people that I have to face this season, and I am not excited about it. On the left, we have Chris and his Nottingham Nihiligos, bringing Rotom Heat, Klefki, Megazam, Yanmega, Garchomp, and Porygon 2. We're putting a hit on it just because fuck this thing.
Agreed. Fully agree. 100%.
Hasn't done anything personal to any of us, I just don't want to see it succeed.
It's in Chris's hands, and I feel like most people in the draft community have probably been victimized by Chris and his usage of P2 at some point or another. So yeah, a hit is necessary.
Yeah. With Liam and the Ambipums, we have Latias, who Jeff has already given you quite the introduction for. Honchkrow, Jolteon, Mega Venusaur. Another Mega that got sniped for me right before I was going to take it. Terrakion and Darmanitan. Darmanitan, I believe, making its second appearance in a row at minimum on the Ambipums, being almost a secondary mascot.
Yeah, pretty much. So it definitely feels like it. He definitely drafted a lot of things. Both of these coaches drafted a lot of things that they're very familiar with. I think I've seen Chris have Klefki and P2 and Garchomp 700 times, and back-to-back seasons with Latios and like Darmanitan, and there are a couple other members of Liam's team as well that are repeats from last season. So a lot of familiarity for both of these coaches and their teams. So it's definitely pretty much guaranteed to always be a good match against them because they're so comfortable with the mons they have. That's a dangerous thing to face off against, to say the very least.
Depends on your definition of good. Good in there. Good for them. Maybe not for us.
Never for us. Never for us. Let's see how these Titans face off.
We start off with the stare down of the dragons, but quickly pivoting into Klefki, predicting the Ice Beam or the Dragon move, honestly. Klefki was the best bet, though, coming in.
Covered all the options. I'm noticing Liam's nickname. I like Liam's nickname. Shout out
So you're going to have to explain it to me, because I see Oikawa, and I probably am thinking of something from the year 2000 and not 2021.
Let's see. Oh, that crit's rough. Ooh, that hurts.
That is very rough, especially with the comm lined up.
Okay, he's doing a full Haikyuu theme. It's a full Haikyuu theme.
Okay.
I see
Oikawa, and I'm going to start thinking about Digimon, because that's how old I am.
He didn't name the Venusaur. Shameful.
Well, I don't think the Venusaur kind of deserves it after
that performance. After that performance. Coming in on the overheat. Oh, God. That's rough. Getting the T-Wave off. Doesn't even matter if it dies at that point.
Flare Blitz Darmanitan and Flare Blitz I don't know if... Liam doesn't have Heal Bell, so I guess at that point there really wasn't much worth keeping Darmanitan for besides the Yanmega, but
Agreed.
The Hidden Power Ice from Jolteon just coming in. I gotta say, I love that we have Hidden Power back.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of those things that, like, you look back on it when it's not around, and you're like, it was kind of annoying at times. But then you get it back, and you're like, oh, the power this gives me. All the beauty this gives me in prep. Oh, it feels so nice again.
Especially with all the 4X weaknesses. Now, geez, Liam already answering the prayers for P2, but busting through it despite being burned. I didn't think that close combat would kill.
I genuinely didn't either. I was very, very convinced that thing was going to live. Jolteon coming in, cleaning it up there, but oh man, +4 Terrakion just says, I don't care if I'm burned. I'm gonna kill whatever's in front of me. Simple as that. Oh, Forgetting about the
that's
trace, that hurts. That hurts.
Now, at this point, had Liam revealed that he was Shadow Ball? Did he have Shadow Ball? Because I feel like...
It was not revealed.
Okay, so I don't remember if he said after the game if he had Shadow Ball, but I feel like Jolteon's one of the only things that could take a Psychic from Zam. You should probably be running Shadow Ball or Signal Beam, which it does get in this gen.
I'm kind of confused by that situation. I feel like the Yanmega was probably sashed. Realistically, I feel like that's pretty likely assumption to go off of. But he just kept spamming Pursuit. Wonder if he was banded. I think he might have. I feel like he had to be a choice item there of some kind. That's what I'm thinking.
It could also be that he didn't want to get like. He didn't want to. It could be that he had Sucker Punch and he didn't want to like do the mind games where he's clicking Calm Mind and letting the Mon boost up while he's failing to hit Sucker Punches, because then at that point there's no coming back. Pursuit was probably a bit safer.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because if he was packing Protect and stuff on the Yanmega, which again we don't even know if he was, sashed or choiced or something.
Yeah.
So it's entirely possible that he could have just been choiced, and both sides could have been choiced, and it was another choice, because that could very well be a choice specs Yanmega for all we know. That would be very cool. But solid game. It was a solid game, pretty much straight up. I definitely think Liam made a lot of risky plays that did not pan out in his favor. Specifically, the Venusaur switch in on the Rotom. I think he was predicting a Volt switch out, and that was did not pan out well for him at all. That was indeed not the play.
Yeah, I think, and the final thing that costing him obviously is forgetting about Trace on Zam.
Yeah, that definitely.
I think if he had remembered that and was able to click something that wasn't electric type, he might have come out of this one the victor.
Yeah, it was one of those situations that literally one differing play can make the difference in a match, and these are two coaches that 9 times out of 10 their matches will be decided by a single play.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of that as the season comes and goes. I mean, we've seen at least 2 1-0s for this. Maybe we've seen 3 at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe this is 3, but a lot of the games this season are going to be that way. And the fact that, these two guys who, we're speaking so, like, highly of in Fear, were able to, like, have the game be decided by one turn, one play, one or two plays it's indicative of the skill level being demonstrated here and the leap we've had just in between seasons.
Yeah, definitely. The skill level in the NPBF has shot up, and you'll see that even further as we go into our next match, which may or may not be another 1-0. Now we finally make it on to my match, as myself and the Anaheim Appletons are taking on Steven and the Sligo Sandacondas. We have 2 Sandacondas teams. I didn't realize Sandaconda was such a popular mon to name a team after until recently, and I find that hilarious. All the mons, we have the, you know what that mon looks like. We're just gonna leave it at that. You know what it looks like. You can look at the mon and you can figure it out for yourself. If you think your mind's in the gutter enough and you're not getting what I'm referencing, get your mind, put it further in the gutter, and then you'll get it. Trust me. But dirty jokes aside, we have my Blastoise, my Machamp, my Frostlass, my Mega Sceptile, my Thundurus, and my Hoopon Bound, taking on Steven's Metagross, Gliscor, Megazard Y. I was incorrect earlier, obviously, as you saw. This is Y. Anthony's is X.
Oh, you did say it was Y, didn't you?
I did indeed. Minor mistake. I'm a human. I'm a human being. I make those once a month or so. We have the Drapion. We have the Swiss Army knife, and we have the Nerfdom Black. it feels so nice to be in a generation again where Kieran Black doesn't get Dragon Dance or physical ice coverage. It feels nice. It's such a joy. But
yeah,
at the same time,
the original progenitor of the hit list too.
Yes, indeed. But it's definitely a terrifying mon to still play against, because despite the fact that it doesn't have physical ice stab, it doesn't need it. It doesn't really need it. I mean, look at my team.
No.
If I could fit 7 mons in this team, Mawile would be here. But it just did so poorly against everything else. Look at just these 2 right here say no to Mawile doing anything.
Yeah.
And force me to play in such specific ways with it that, trying to bring it was just too tough. And, this thing can just run Earth Power and nuke it anyway. So it's is it really...
Metagross can click EQ and do the same thing. And
yeah.
It's just...
Everything here can beat Mawile in one way or another. So it was I'd like to bring my Dragon immunity against the thing that can click Outrage and kill my whole team. But I can't. So we just have to play around that. That's literally my mindset this entire game was, how do I not lose to, Scarf Outrage Kira Black or something along those lines? That was my whole thought process the entire game. So we'll go on slow and we'll see how that played out, because it was a tough one. It was a scary one, to say the very least. Right. He leads the Drapion. I lead the Frostlass. I'm all right, this is fine. I'm just gonna spike in his face. I don't care. I'm focused, Sash. I ain't stressing. It's whatever.
Interesting choice on his part to go Poison Jab and not just immediately knock off.
Right? I was very, very surprised. I was fully expecting him to just go knock off and then me get a spike up and then just be able to Destiny Bond him down, but unfortunately that is not the case. He's just going to defog away my spike with the Mew, which is rude. How dare he?
Well, at least he waited. He didn't wait until after Frostlass was gone.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. And, of course, I'm not going to be able to get my spike, because he does reveal the Rock Slide, but also reveals to me that he is indeed Choice Scarf, so the thing I was most terrified of. But I get a free switch into Machamp, and now I get to get rid of his Defogger, which is also great. Getting rid of Mew early in a game is never a bad thing.
Surprising that you stayed in on the Zen, but I guess knockoff was going to just do enough for you.
Yeah, it was a situation where it was I knew I could live, and I didn't want to take the chance of him, I felt like going into Hoopa on the Zen Headbutt was way too obvious. I felt like he was going to predict that, and probably just go for, the Meteor Mash, and just, two-shot my Hoopa, because... Unfortunately, despite the fact that it's 18 feet tall, its physical defense is paper, for whatever reason. So, definitely didn't want to have to try to switch into that. Nothing else really wanted to come in. I debated going into Blastoise, but I knew I kind of had to keep that thing around. Just kind of a way of, dealing with his potential hazards and also being able to, get some extra chip damage on the Zard. So it was I couldn't really afford anything else to take the hit. And I was I can take one. I'm stupidly physically bulky. I can get a knockoff on this thing, whatever its item is. I can take care of that. No problem. Unfortunately, the flinch is what it is. But that's Pokemon for you. What can you do?
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta pick the one that's gonna be the least bad thing to lose.
Exactly. At this point, I'm just alright, this thing is a problem, so I'm just going to click Scald. I'm going to click Scald until I burn it.
And hope.
And there we go.
Didn't take long, which is surprising. I feel like it takes forever to see a Scald burn more often than not.
Right, you always get the Scald burns when you're not looking for the Scald burns, and then the moment you're actually looking for a Scald burn, you will never get it. But... yeah, Blastoise being able to take out the Metagross here is really, really nice. for us, for sure. Makes things a little bit easier. And then in comes the Charizard, and I'm just like, well,
bad time.
Yeah, nothing's coming in on this. So I'm just, if I can get some damage off, yeah, it's great. I don't think I will, but it's fine. But I can go into my Sceptile here and put the Fear of God in his Charizard forever. I have now told him that Charizard does not come in on Sceptile. You don't make that happen.
Interesting, though, not having HP Ice when Gliscor is one of the things that walls you.
It was a tough bring. With the Sceptile set, it was fully mixed. I was like, it was a case of 4 move slot syndrome for sure, because I definitely needed to have some form of Grass Stab. I know there was something on his team that I needed to be able to break through with it, and that's why I had the Leaf Storm. Pulls up the dock and pulls up the dock and pulls up the dock and pauses. Where the frick is his team? There it is. I had the Leaf Storm for the Suicune. Yeah, I knew I needed the Grass Stab for Suicune. Obviously, I needed to bring Dragon Stab so I could hit the Kyurem. I needed the Rock Slide so I could deal with the Zard. And then Earthquake was there because, like, the combination of moves I already had couldn't touch the Drapion really hard at all and couldn't deal with the Metagross. So it was like, But I knew if he was, depending on his bulk investment, like, if he had stayed in there and, like, set up rocks or something, a Leaf Storm would have been able to kill him from that range, just because of how stupidly strong Sceptile is. So it was like, going for the Dragon Pulse, like, I scout his set, see what he's looking like, and I was like, alright, I can do, like, 60 to 70 to this thing, so I just need a little bit of chip on it before Sceptile comes in, and I can kill it pretty easily. So
that makes sense.
It worked out. It worked out nicely, at least in that sense that the HPIs wasn't entirely necessary, but it still sucks.
Yeah. That was definitely the right move to omit, though.
Yeah, it worked out. I got the right 4 moves, I think, and it worked out really well in this matchup. But we get the knockoff here. Very good stuff. Get the knockoff here. What did I miss? We got the U-turn into the Kyurem. There we go. Nothing. I obviously had to switch here. Switching there was like, I knew in my heart. I went into Hoopa knowing in my heart that I was like, I feel like Hoopa is about to die. I feel like Hoopa is 110% about to die. Because it's still in my head, it was ringing. I was like, Scarfed Outrage just wins this game. Scarfed Outrage kills everything I have. It one-shots Hoopa. It does way too much damage to Thundurus. And it obviously one-shots Sceptile. So he just clicks Outrage and wins. Like right now. And that was it. I was 100% accepting the fact that I was boned. And then I switch out and he clicks Ice Beam and I'm like, I could not have hoped for a better turn. Thank God.
Yeah, that was some serious luck.
Yeah, I don't know if he even had Dragon Stab on it. If he did, God, thank you for not clicking it, please. I appreciate you. That lets me get the knockoff off. The further proof as to why Hoopa's ridiculous is the fact that, like, just a stab knockoff, not even boosted knockoff, just a stab knockoff from Hoopa is able to do over 50% to a Mega that can't even take the boosted damage. That's absurd. That can just 2-hit KO Zard-Y for free. That's great. Then get rid of this thing's Black Sludge, which is always nice as well. I'm just like, I need to sack this thing. I don't want to sack Hoopa. I don't really want to sack Hoopa. But I just need a little bit of chip damage on this thing. Because now Thundurus comes in. And Thundurus pretty much beats everything or has a way of crippling everything at this point in time. Oh, that play felt... It was so good in my head. It didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but it was so good in my head.
Yeah. So what was the plan there initially? Okay,
so my thought process is obviously he goes into Gliscor. I'm like, all right, he is 100% baiting me to HP Ice him. He is 100% baiting me to HP Ice, and I felt like he was gonna double out into the Kyurem on the HP Ice, and then he just locks himself into Ice Beam and messes me up. Which, granted, I could still Thunder Wave him, but at least if I go for the knockoff, like, it was kind of a double-edged sword. If I went for the knockoff there, it's like, okay, I get chip damage on the Gliscor, I can still kill it with HP Ice if it stays in for some reason, right? But I was 100% convinced, like, he was going Kyurem. So if I knock off the Kyurem, I get rid of its Scarf, then no matter what happens, I 100% can beat him with Sceptile. Sceptile beats everything else that's left. So it was like, it felt like it was a low-risk play, but the moment he stated it, I was like, oh, he's clicking Stone Edge, and I'm going to die, and I'm going to lose, and I'm going to be sad. But
that
it worked
makes
out.
sense. Yes.
So he roosts here. I'm like, okay, you don't think I have HP Ice? All right. Please hold that HP Ice for me, please, thank you. Kyurem comes in, I'm like, alright, time to win the game. I'm going to click the yellow magic. And the yellow magic is here. And the yellow magic is now determined that I've won this game. Despite the fact that he crit me and froze me. Which was just like...
Consolation.
Yeah. It's one of those things like, why is that happening? And of course, like the sun being up, I feel like the sun being up should make me thaw. I'm just saying, Game Freak. Come on. Fix your game. Harsh sunlight. I'm frozen in a block of ice. That doesn't add up. I'm just saying. If he got the boost there, I was going to cry. He clicked Ancient Power, and I immediately saw my life flash before my eyes.
Yeah, that would have been something. That definitely would have won him the game.
Yeah. I would have been so pissed. But Rock Slide, I was expertly EV'd to always one-hit a Zard Y, because I'm absurd with my EV spreads. I think I had like 50-something attack EVs. Like, I only needed that many. But I was like hasty nature or something. I was like all over the place. My EV spread was crazy. Made sure to KO that thing. And Dragon Pulse, of course, is going to finish off the Kyurem. And I pulled out a 1-0 in possibly one of the most tense and like frightening games I played in a while. And it's just... Oh, God. This is how the season's starting. I don't want to deal with the rest of it. I'm already stressed.
They're going to be fully gray.
On to our final game for week 1. We have the meme duo of Gavino and his Venice Beach Victinis, and Eric and his East Coast Aegislashers. These guys are like the memeiest of the group. I mean, look at Gavino's showdown name. Just there's a story behind this. It makes sense. I promise. So when we were drafting, Gavino pretty much like always half the time communicated through Rennie, because they're like best friends. They've been like homies outside of NPBF like beforehand. Like they both came in together, and it was great. They're they're homies. But during the draft, right, we were waiting for Gav to pick. We were waiting for a little while. Rennie was like, all right, I got this. Goes in Gav's DMs. I'm pretty sure he just like joked about like, hey, I'll send you some pics, send you some nudes. Come pick. And then literally seconds out, he sent the DMs, showed us the screenshot. Seconds later, Gav's in the chat. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This is, it's just, he summoned him so perfectly, so precisely and so quickly, with the promise of his ass.
You can't make this shit up.
You can't. It's just too funny. It's too beautiful. It's just, you don't get much better than that. Gav is too funny, and his existence here is brilliant. And Eric is slowly and steadily climbing as one of the funniest people in the group as well, because he is Eric, and he is a meme. So it's like the two funniest battlers in the league right now, duking it out week 1. I feel like that's a poetic way to finish off, I think.
I would say so.
So what do you think about these teams, Alex? What do you think about this matchup? Let's break it down.
Well, so I'd be remiss to not point out that Gav once again has his favorite Eviolite core of Chansey and Dusclops.
He has drafted that.
I don't remember the last time he didn't have this.
I can't think of a season where he didn't have it. I genuinely can't. If he didn't, like, please someone else in the league correct me if he didn't at some point, but I would be willing to bet that he's pretty much had that duo forever. Like, I feel like that's just locked in from, like, the start of the draft. He's going to pick Dusclops and Chansey, and probably within the first 3 to 4 rounds.
Yeah, he's also got Jirachi, Manectric Mega, the team mascot in Victini, and Shaman. We got 3 of the Mythics on this team, and that is not a good time.
Yeah, 3 base 100s across the board. That's always going to be annoying to deal with. That's rough.
And then staring him down, Eric's got Rotom Wash, Hitmonchan, regular Kyurem. We've seen both variants now that we can. Mamoswine, Scizor, and Mega Deontay. Doubling up on ice types, but they do very different things.
Indeed, they do, and both of them do them very well. Although Kyurem doesn't do it as well back in this generation as it does now.
No.
Now Kyurem just 6-0s teams in OU for fun, because it does.
That's crazy.
It's just like there's so many sets for Kyurem now. It's like it's not even funny. It's absurd. They gave Kyurem too much, and but it's one of those mons. Like they gave it all these tools and it can do so many things, but it's like Lando, where like it's just not good enough to ban it. But it's just barely not good enough to ban it. So let's see how this match plays out. We can leave this one on normal speed. We'll zoom through this baby real quick, because it's...
And right as the game starts, Eric notices Gav's showdown name. Good lead so far, getting rocks up on Gav's side. Fucking Dusclops.
It's off doing its nonsense again, as per usual.
Give him those creepy ass back rubs.
Well, I feel like he gives good back rubs. I feel like look at them hand movements. Like I'm feeling like he's getting all the kinks out, 100% of the time.
Oh, for sure. Well, just the movement's kind of creepy.
Oh yeah. I don't want something like that, especially with his dangly little jaw flapping about too, just right behind my neck. I feel like that'd be weird.
So that ice beam did a lot more than I was expecting on Jirachi.
Like, even if it's an offensive Jirachi, like that's a resisted hit. That's a lot. I don't know if that Kyurem was like specs. I had to be specs. I can't see any world where an unresisted ice beam to Eviolite Dusclops does 42, and then a resisted ice beam to a Jirachi does 41 the following turn. That's a little suspect to me.
Shaman coming in for the Earthquake, missing the Air Slash. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, that's one of those moments. Oh, I'm predicting the Scizor. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
That had to have been a hidden Power Fire.
Not getting the flinch there. Shame.
Unfortunate.
Poor Shaman. He tried his best. He did his best.
He tried.
Thor's doggo. Oh my god. I wasn't paying attention to his nicknames, and now I am.
Not hitting well with the predictions today in this match.
Scarf Mamoswine. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was Scarf or not from turn 1, just setting up the rocks, but I now I see it, and now I like it. Ooh.
Victini didn't get to do anything. I really hope that's not the case, because he needs Victini. He needs Victini in order to pull off just about anything.
Yeah, that's a tough match, man. That's a real tough match. This Scizor just messed him up. Even with the Occaberry, he gets the crit though. That's funny. Critting through berries just feels disrespectful.
Yeah, but it feels good.
It does. It's just like, oh, you had that really good prep for me. Be a shame if I ruined it.
And Eric preserving his differential, getting Deontay out of there, dodging the Iron Head so that Rotom can resist it and just clean up.
Yeah, very, very, very good played. Very well played match. Gav definitely took some unnecessary risks there. The knockoff on the incoming Victini, that was huge. That was very huge. Losing the Eviolite on Chansey definitely did not help. And then Eric played the Scarf Mamo really well. Like he did a great job showing that off.
Oh, we knew it was Scarf turn 1 because of the Dusclops frisk.
It'd be a shame if I would read. What a concept of reading. I'm just really bad at it, apparently. Pokemon players, we don't know how to read. If you want to watch people play a game that know how to read, go watch Yu-Gi-Oh players. They literally can't play their game if they don't know how to read. So, go watch Yu-Gi-Oh players. Pokemon players don't need to read. We just need to click buttons. It's that simple.
Yeah, it's true.
Yu-Gi-Oh players, they play cards that have encyclopedias on them.
Don't miss that game.
Same. But man, what a week of action! What a crazy bunch of matches. Half of them being 1-0s, the other half being either complete blowouts or just heavily competitive back and forths, where the differential does not tell the full story. It's been a week. It's been a crazy week, and I'm sure that the rest of the season is going to get even crazier. But with
I fully expect it to be like this.
Yeah, every single week. I would be very shocked if it's not. But now, it is time for us to take a trip over to the league document to see who is rocking out an early lead on the kill leaderboard. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here on the official league document, and we are here taking a look at the kill leaderboard as of the end of week 1. And you would think, oh, nothing crazy is going to be happening. It's only just week 1. Oh, you would be wrong. You would be very sorely wrong. Alex, why don't you take it away and tell them how wrong they were.
Well, leading the pack, we have Mega Gyarados, captained by the Magikarps, sitting right now at 6 kills and 0 deaths after the beating he brought to the J-Dog Jolteons. We usually don't see something like that this high up week 1, but since we are, I think we got to issue a hit out on Mega Gyarados.
Yes, sir. Indeed, we do. Something like this cannot be tolerated. 2 or 3 kills, that's acceptable. We can overlook that. But week 1, grabbing 6 kills, all for yourself? That's a little bit selfish. We don't appreciate selfish mons or selfish people in this league. We don't. So the official hit is out. Decreed. Officially. A hit must be taken out on Mega Gyarados. It must die. At all costs. Whatever it takes. It must be removed.
As often as possible.
Indeed. Stop that thing from doing what it does. Please and thank you. I'm begging you.
Alrighty. Following off Gyarados, we have 3 Mons tied, sitting at 3 kills and 0 deaths. Leading the pack, by virtue of coming first alphabetically, is Doug Trio from the Brave Birds, followed by my Sylveon. And then sitting at 4th is Talonflame from the Darkrai. I don't know about you, Jeff. I think it's really, really funny seeing Sylveon and Doug Trio in the top 3, even if it's just week 1.
I completely agree. It's an early showing as to why Arena Tramp has been banned for so long, and why the Pixelate nerf needed to be done. Even though it was such a slight nerf, you can definitely tell it makes a difference. Even just jumping from 1.3 down to 1.2, it's enough of a jump in a lot of cases. So I think seeing Sylveon up there is very nice. Very nice to see. It's deserving because it's such a good mon, and typically in your hands it is consistently a good mon. So it's no surprise to see it up here. And then, well, it's Gen 6 and it's Talonflame. I don't think we need to talk about that much.
Yeah, if Talonflame doesn't have the #1 spot at some point this season, then there's something going wrong here.
Rennie failed. Rennie failed, period. Rennie is a bad player, and he should be removed from anything Pokemon related. Just so we can prevent him from getting a 5th championship. Not because he's not because of that at all. I mean it's because he's a bad person, right? That's why we're removing him. That's it. We're not just trying to prevent, the inevitable. But yeah, Talonflame, Sylveon, and Dugtrio sitting up top. Love that. Really cool mons. Definitely unique to see. The rest of this list just so happened to also be tied. We have a 6-way tie for 5th place with 2 kills and 0 deaths. Breaking it down, we got Arcanine from the Bridgeport Sandacondas, Gyarados from the Greenwich Giratinas, Mega Sceptile from the Anaheim Appletons, Rotom Wash from the East Coast Aegislashers, Skarmory, also from the Bridgeport Sandacondas, and Yanmega from the Nottingham Nihilegos. One thing to note here that disgusts me greatly, and I need to point it out, is both Skarmory and Arcanine, they got their 2 kills as passive kills. And if you think I'm going to let that slide, I'm not. I have to call it out. Deshaun, what are you doing? Please stop. If I see more passive kills on your thing, we're going to have a problem. We're going to have a discussion. This is sickening. You killed 4 mons to toxic/hazards. What are you doing? Do you want people to have fun? Or are you just trying to hurt everyone's feelings? Deshaun, I'm hurt by this. I feel personally attacked by this. Why? Why, Deshaun? I thought we were all friends. I got a little too upset there.
Also funny to point out is somehow nothing on the kill leaders list died in week 1. I feel like that doesn't happen.
I don't think that has ever happened. As long as we've been doing kill leaders, I do not think that has ever happened. We have always had at least one thing sitting at like 2-1 or 3-1 or something along those lines up there. The fact that everything is still alive and kicking after week 1 is pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely a rare sight, and I'm very pleased to see it. It's very nice, neat, and clean too. Just all these zeros in this column. It's very, very pretty to look at. Very nice. Very neat. And then seeing Yanmega here. Yanmega is one mon that, like, you don't expect to see on a kill leaderboard ever. I know it's only week 1. So, like, odds of this changing are very likely. But even just the fact that it's here in the first place, I think that's pretty awesome. Personally.
It is. There's a lot of fun facts on here. Like, we got both variants of Gyarados on here.
Oh, wow. I didn't even notice that until you pointed it out. That's really interesting. Gyarados just be the king of Gen 6. Move over Talonflame. Gyarados is here to take your spot. It's simple as that. That's really cool. I like that a lot. Hopefully we can fix that eventually. Mega Gyarados, we're looking at you. I'm telling you, you're on the wanted posters. It's up there. It's time. Your bounty is my love and admiration. You will receive my love and admiration if you kill this Gyarados. So do it. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Overall, I'm pleased with this list. I like a very diverse set of mons. Not too many coaches doubling up on the list. Obviously we have 2, but even still, it's a very diverse line of coaches as well, making their way up here. So hopefully we can keep something like that going and see how much representation we can get up here on the kill leaderboard. I think that's really cool. For sure. Definitely looking forward to seeing how this shapes up as the season goes on. But with that being said, I think it's time we take a look at next week's matchups and see who's throwing down next.
Indeed.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to show you the Week 2 matchups. And boy, this season does not take a break. There's no breathers to be had here. top tier matchups all the way down the board. Tell them what I mean.
Well, at the top, we got Alan in the Metals squaring off with Eric in the High Slashers. This could easily be Alan's time to really come through, show what he can do with someone who's not going to get 4 passive kills and wall him with Arcanine, and do a bit more blow for blow. I think this one comes down a lot more to the wire, and I really think it could go either way. I really am looking forward to seeing what Alan does here.
Definitely. It looks like it's going to be a fun matchup for sure.
Next up, we got Deshaun and the Sandacondas going up against Gavino and the Victinis. There's so much I could say. I also don't know how much of any of it is valid because Gavino's in the equation.
Yeah.
We could see the same team that we saw last week. We could see something entirely different. And that's not even taking Deshaun into account. You know, the mons he's got, regardless of what he showed us this week, they, for the most part, all do a lot of different things. So, who's to say? He played the long game this week for week 1. He could very easily show up to Gavino with nothing but hyper offense and just catch him totally off guard before he can even do anything.
Definitely. It's going to be a very, very tough matchup for both coaches on either side. Both sides have a lot of really powerful tools to use, so it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize them. And I don't think, especially with Chansey's cleric abilities, that Deshaun's going to be able to pull the same strats for sure. So he's going to have to dig a little bit more in the bag of tricks to pull something out against Gav, I think.
Absolutely. Next up, we have Chris and the Nihiligos going up against Jason and the Ninetailers. I think this is going to be a very interesting game. We saw what happened in week 1 with Chris and Liam, that 1-0. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar when he and Jason clash for week 2. Jason had a really close game this past week. I totally expect to see him bringing a bit more of that fire and using that to motivate him to try to overcome Chris, especially after Chris is showing against Liam.
Definitely, and these are two incredibly top-notch battlers, as shown by their week 1 performances. This could very well be another one of the potential games of the week, but at this point we have 8 of those every week.
Yeah. Now, the one I consider likely to be my game of the week is Rennie and the Darkrai's against Liam and the Amipoms. I mean, we saw what both of these guys did. Yes, Liam came up slightly short against Chris, but that is not an accurate portrayal of Liam as a battler. We all know what Rennie can do. If you're familiar with the NPBF, Rennie's name is really synonymous with it. He took Jason all the way to the limit. Liam did the same to Chris, and I'm very, very excited to see the match these two put on together. I really couldn't tell you who I think is going to take this game.
Yeah, definitely. This is a battle of absolute titans. Rennie being a former 4-time champion and consistent playoff contender every single season. Liam coming off of an undefeated regular season last season, and obviously having to hit the speed bump of Chris week 1. I'm sure he's going to be lit up to try to bounce back off of after that loss. So definitely going to be the match to watch for sure. This is going to be an absolute barn burner. No doubt in my mind. A slobber knocker, if you will. But moving on, we see Jesse and the J-Dog Jolteons taking on my boy Alex here and the Greenwich Giratinas. Alex coming off of an incredibly powerful 6-0 win, really well played 6-0 win in week 1. So you're riding a huge high momentum, but Jesse's also got a lot to prove this week. He's a former champion, and he got essentially 6-0'd by Omega Gyarados. So he's definitely going to be looking to bounce back hard here. So I think this is going to be a really, really tough matchup, regardless of where they currently sit on the standings. It's definitely one to keep an eye on, for sure. Definitely nothing to sleep on here.
Yeah, Jesse's got a lot of stuff on his team that I could personally say I'm not a big fan of in terms of going up against. But more than anything, I'm not afraid of his team. I'm afraid of the fire and wrath he's going to put into his team to get over essentially getting 6-0'd by Mega Gyarados.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup. Speaking of fun matchups, we have the other sides of those Week 1 matchups referenced. We have Jamie and the Brisbane Rillaboomers taking on James and the Myrtle Magikarps. James is riding a high right now. He is on an absolute tear in the singles scene right now. Across several leagues, it seems. He is just owning it right now. He is rolling through people left and right, and it is a sight to see. We haven't seen him this consistent since the double season, several seasons back, where he just stomped everyone with rain every single week. This kind of performance is thoroughly impressive. So he's definitely going to be a tough person to stop. But if anyone can do it, I think Jamie can. Jamie is considered by a lot of us one of the best battlers in the scene right now. Straight up. His creativity is absurd. He comes up with some of the craziest sets that you can imagine, but they're not crazy in the fact that they're like, why would you do this? They're crazy in the fact that, like, how did you think of this?
Yeah.
His creativity is absurd, and it almost always works. So I am fully expecting this to be a crazy matchup.
Yeah, as we saw in Week 1, Gyarados variants put in a ton of work against Jamie's team. So I expect Mega Gyarados to, if not have the same role that it did against Jesse, to still be a tremendous threat. But more than Gyarados, my concern for Jamie is making sure he can get out of his own head and shake off the feeling of our game from Week 1. I think if he can overcome the mental aspect, that he could really start bouncing back, beginning with this game against James.
For sure. I definitely expect to see Jamie bounce back hard this season, but another matchup definitely to look forward to is mine. Myself and the Anaheim Appletons will be taking on Anthony and the Windy City Bolt Strikers. I have not had good luck with Anthony in recent seasons. I have not had good luck against him for a while now. It just kind of seems like he just has had my number. And so, taking that into account, this makes this matchup even more difficult, but even more of a must-win for me, because I feel like I got to get that win back. So, it's about time to hopefully pick up a dub on Anthony after quite some time of him beating the crap out of me. So, Anthony, prepare thine cheeks. I am coming.
You've been very critical about his team, and, it's no secret that he's got a bit of an ice weakness. You think he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder on that? How are you going to feel if he does take this one off you again, knowing that he's got such a prevalent weakness?
Very, very sad. I'm very much not looking forward to that potential future, because it does exist. I recognize it exists, but I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent it. I shall freeze you where you stand. Bad promo cutting skills aside, it's going to be a really fun matchup, and I'm really thoroughly looking forward to it. Anthony's a great guy and always a fun person to play against, so it's going to be a fun match, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
And last but not least, we have Steven and the Sligo Sandacondas taking on James and the Memphis Brave Birds. Lord James himself, after a strong, well-played performance in Week 1, looking to continue that against Steven here. Steven proved in any doubter's eyes how good he can be. Very much living up to the hype he had coming into this season after winning D-League. So looking to bounce back after a very close game week 1. So definitely still a coach to watch, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him start picking up some wins here. But overcoming Lord James is not an easy feat for anyone to do. So It's definitely going to be a fun match regardless either way.
Yeah. Yeah, Steven, as you've said, he's coming with a lot of hype, and he performed really well against you. James, this is a 2-time champ. You know, handed Anthony, while a very close win, still, the way he masterfully played that Doug trio is going to... Might not be Doug trio against Steven, but it's going to be something.
Absolutely.
Something is going to get that level of play. And I personally, I like my traditions of playing James in week 1 or 2. I still don't like being on the receiving end of what he comes up with.
Definitely. He always seems to pull out the craziest stuff early on, for sure. So definitely going to be a fun match to watch, along with the rest of these amazing matches and all of these amazing coaches. We have easily one of the best lineups I think we've ever had in NPBF, and seeing the quality of the games this week just shows it incredibly. So I'm fully expecting this season to continue along that trend. Alex, thank you so much for joining me this week. It's been fantastic.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Yeah, it has been a blast, and you are going to be hearing a lot of different voices on these recaps over the course of the season. We're going to be trying to get every single admin involved in these recaps at one point or another. I'm sure you've already seen Nate is pumping out some great content for the D-League as well, which is fantastic stuff. I really love that the D-League's getting the shine that it really deserves, because it truly has elevated itself over the past several seasons to being like a really, really tough, contentious place to face off. It's really, really great stuff to see. I'm very much excited about that. In this season, we got a whole bunch of ideas coming for you guys. So stay tuned, because if you think these recaps are all you're getting, you'd be sorely mistaken. We got plans. Very good plans. Very fun plans. So the content's going to keep rolling, and it's going to be great. We're all excited to present it to you, and hopefully you guys all enjoy it. So I think with that being said, I think it's time to get out of here. Alex, say goodbye to the people.
Till next time. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later.
Yes, sir. Until then, for Alex, my name is Jeff. I also go by PokePrimer, and we are signing off. Peace.